Good people, good people, good people. Welcome to another edition of Commander's Wrap, where you get all your relevant Commanders news in 15 minutes. I'm your host, Dr. Wonderful, Doctor of Writing, Professor of English, and avid Commanders fan, joined here as always by my co host, Kevin Bayne. We air every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and replay at 10 a.m. on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. How you doing this week, Kevin?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Can't complain. It's been a good week, a fun week of kind of like news, getting ready for our game against the Chargers. I'm kind of ready to jump in. What about you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So our first segment is going to recap the 44-24 beatdown that the Commanders gave to the Las Vegas Raiders. Uh, Lots of good things happened in this game, Kevin. Lots of things that we cleaned up in comparison to what we went through in the Green Bay game. As a total, just some stats. Really, really great games. Started with Marcus Mariota. He only missed 6 passes. He was 15 of 21, 207 yards, with 118 QB rating. The run game was outstanding, 32 carries for 201 yards. Jerry McNichols leading the pack. He had that big 60 yarder. And of course, the special teams came to play. Two big kickoff returns that we had by Debo Samuel, and then of course the 90-yard punt return from Jalen Lane. Uh, Kevin, give us your synopsis of what happened in the game and how we bounced back from Green Bay and what we kind of still need to work on here.
And so yeah, I thought it was exactly what we needed. After that tough matchup against Green Bay. Anytime your starting quarterback isn't playing and you're rolling with your backup, it can have you a little optimistic. But I think Mariota, he's one of the better backups in the entire league. You don't expect him to go out there and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But other than that first fumble early on, I thought he was solid overall. He did a good job taking care of the football. You just mentioned, completed most of his passes there. Um, Going into this game, I know some changes were made to the offensive line. That change came after they struggled the first 2 weeks of the season, giving up a lot of sacks and more specific sacks and pressures. More specifically, the guards. Chris Paul replaced Brandon Coleman at left guard. Andrew Wiley took over for Nick Allegretti at right guard. Allegretti was benched, but he did remain active. And of course, Quinn stated, the move was a result of competition. He stressed that the final starting lineup is still unsettled. Uh, and so far, the changes seem to be a big improvement. I know it was only against one team. We'll see how they do against Atlanta. They only let up 2 quarterback pressures. After last week they gave up 4 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, a lot of pressures. So I was glad to see a much improved offensive line. And before the season started, Dr. Wonderful, we talked about the rookies, and one of them we brought up, of course, was Jalen Lane, and we brought up his special teams ability, and he really does have a talent for it. As you just mentioned, he returned one for 90 yards to the house. Not only our punt returns much better with him doing it, but our kick returns, having Debo in the loop, we're actually number one in the league in return yards in both punts and kicks. Uh, Real quick on a side note, I'm gonna put Peters and Quinn on a little bit of a blast here. I don't know what is going on with our kicker. Uh, he's 3 for 6 on the season. He's 0 for 1 from 30 to 39. He's 2 for 4 from 50 plus. He is 9 for 9 on extra points. I'll give him that. His impact could be huge, not only down the road, but even against Atlanta. No Jaden Daniels, no McLaurin, no Noah Brown, no John Bates, meaning long drives might be hard to come by. So if we can get inside that 45 to 50-yard field goal range, I need Matt Gay to come up. I need him to step up, and I don't want to have to go for it on fourth down because I don't have faith in my kicker. If I see him miss from inside the 50, if I see another damn kick go out of bounds, they have got to bring in someone next week. You can't preach competition everywhere all over the time, except for the kicker position. And I understand you want your kicker to have confidence. You don't want him looking over his shoulder, but this is the NFL. It's the nature of the beast. You either produce or you're gone. But yeah, it was a great win. On all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. with the kicker. And with the same logic, you don't get to preach that you're going to have competition at all levels, and then you don't do it.
Right.
And have followed through with replacing people that we thought were going to be starters, or at least temporary starters at one spot until Cosme came back. But with
Yep.
but you won't do it at kicker. And I don't care if his contract is fully guaranteed. It's like $4 million.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Like there's not even a financial reason. We
Yep.
can't go, oh well, the kicker's making $30 million and that's why they're not bringing in anyone.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
no, he's making $4 million. It doesn't make sense to me. It's one of
Yep.
those things
Yep.
that I hope we can find a way to get a more well-rounded answer, a more realistic answer from Dan Quinn about what that's about. We may not know until after the season and things like that, but it just seems to go against his own philosophy.
Yes.
And that's why it's like, why do you just not seem to do your philosophy here? It's more a question about his philosophy. It's not about Matt Gay. I don't care if you let Matt Gay go and you bring in someone else next year. He better have some competition too. Like,
Yes.
like it's that's really kind of the only person who shouldn't have competition is long snapper. But do you remember that time a few years ago when we started talking about the long snapper? Because nobody talks
Yes.
about the
Yes.
long snapper,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like every position is critical,
Yep.
and more games in the NFL are decided by field goals. And so, yeah, wanting a quality field goal kicker, I just want my field goal kicker to make it from 50 and in.
Right, exactly. I'm not holding. Look. There's 50 plus yarders. I know how difficult they are, and that's why I even said, 50 in, you got to hit those. The 50 out, I'll cut you some slack on them. No big deal. It happens. That's far out, but I don't think much attention has been brought to it because we have been winning by a large margin. But when we start playing these better teams, especially if we're missing key players,
Yeah.
we're going to need
Oh,
him. You're going to need a field goal kicker, right?
yeah.
So we'll
And
see.
people have been noticing it. I mean, insider media has been noticing it.
Yeah.
Even David Harrison, who used to cover the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who used to have Matt Gay, he said Matt Gay has a very big leg, but the reason that Tampa Bay let him go was because he was inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
Inconsistent, and which to me reads as inaccurate, right? You're missing kicks,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. That's what
like
it boils down
so.
to.
Right, but we've also seen field goal kickers struggle, go to another destination and do well.
Yeah.
Dustin Hopkins
Yes.
couldn't do anything for us, goes to another destination, does absolutely fine.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
so
We had one with the last name. I don't know if it was Nick. Was Novak.
oh
Um,
yes, Nick Novak. Uh
Nick
huh.
Novak. He was pretty. Not. He was okay for us, and then I forget where he went. But then I remember I'm like, damn, he's hitting a lot of these field goals. Where was he at for us, right? Like,
Right. Same
yep.
with Joey Sly.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep.
So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's go ahead, Kevin, and get to our second segment here. And it started off. We're going to talk a little bit about the injuries and things like that, just a little bit, because that's how press conferences started off this week. Because Jaden Daniels did not play against the Las Vegas Raiders, and so he actually gave a press conference on Wednesday, which gave some fans a little bit of hope that he was going to play, because many times, if you're definitely not going to play, they usually do not allow players to speak to the press. However, most likely they had not made a firm decision yet, that of whether or not he was or wasn't going to play. So, though Jaden Daniels did speak at the podium and did give his desire to play, we do know that he is out for this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. Additionally, we learned more about the Terry McLaurin quad injury. He sought a second opinion, which is quite normal, but it is an injury that pleasantly they do not believe will require surgery, but it is also going to keep Terry McLaurin out of this game. So we're going to have two impactful starters out of the game, making four total, although two of them are gone for the year, Dietrich Wise and Austin Eckler. But Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin are out.
Hmm.
Now, Kevin, last week backups came up big. Jaden Daniels, Luke McCaff. I'm not, excuse me, not Jaden Daniels. Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, right? Big time plays that they made for this offense. We've been begging them to come up big for us.
Yep.
John Bates had, I'm not John Bates, excuse me. Ben Sinnott in replace of John Bates did an excellent job blocking
Yes.
and doing the Trent Scott coming in there as well did an excellent job. So the replacements did a really good job against Vegas. We're going to have to depend on them again against Atlanta. So what do you have for us? What do you want to see, and how do you want our backups to be used?
Yeah. Just what you just said is exactly what I was thinking. Right. We got to see more contributions from the depth players and our young players. We're thin at wide receiver right now with Terry and Noah out. I saw a little bit of that last week with McCaffrey. He got open for a 43-yard touchdown, the first of his career, by the way. And Chris Moore had a couple of catches. I'd like to see Lane get more involved in the receiving game. I think he could be an asset there. I don't know if there was talk about they were going to bring somebody up possibly from the practice squad. I don't know if that's been done yet or not. Uh, Running game was key last week. There were 200 yards rushing, and so I think if you can get the run game going early, it's going to help Mariota. It's going to help our wide receivers, and last but not least, I want to see the defense key in on Bijan and get pressure on Phoenix. He's been struggling. He was actually benched last week for Cousins in the fourth quarter. Um, but you just can't overlook these guys. At the end of the
No.
day, they still have talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They've got guys like Kyle Pitts, Drake London.
Mhm. Mhm.
Arguably, Bijan could be the best running back in the league, right? Like they have they have a squad. So, but yeah, I want to see our younger players step up.
Yeah, I agree. And Atlanta does have a squad. I'm not expecting them to come out and lay an egg and not score
Yeah,
any points. I will say I'm not sure how they use their talent. It's interesting to me.
yeah,
I don't think they use their talent to their abilities. Like, yes, I think they're a talented squad, but for some reason they're not being used in a way that is effective,
yeah,
in my opinion. But the key, I think, is right. You stop Bijan and you get to Penix. Penix seems to right now turn into a wilting flower when pressured.
yes,
And the measure of any quarterback, pocket, running, whatever, is how you do with pressure. And remember last year, Jaden Daniels was quite good against the blitz,
yeah,
right? Because the first and number one thing for any for a coordinator to do for a young quarterback, oh well, let's just run too many people at him, see what he does, right? And
yeah,
until
yeah,
that quarterback proves that he knows what to do and when to do it, you're just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I
yeah,
remember last week when we were playing Vegas in the third quarter, I was just like, just go forward. Just run forward. That's what I was just telling the
yeah,
defense to
yeah,
do. I was
yeah,
like, at this point, Gino doesn't know what to do. Just go forward.
yeah,
I don't know what the call is, but just send your men forward because their line was also collapsing. So that's why I was like, just go forward.
yeah,
They're giving
yeah,
up. They are laying down right now. Just whatever's going to send them forward. So
yeah,
this is the way I think. I would love some nice stunts, early pressures on first down.
yeah,
Stop Bijan, and you'll probably stop Atlanta. Um, that's what I would say with
yeah.
that. So I
I
agree with you
agree.
completely. Yeah, I think we're going to win this game. Like I said, I think I expect Atlanta to show up to feel embarrassed and to play as a team that is hungry and does not want to be embarrassed again, right? And so a team that feels like they have opportunity because they're playing Marcus Mariota and not the Jaden Daniels led Commanders. So I expect it to be a good game. But I do think that we will walk out of Atlanta with a win and get ready to prepare ourselves for a very, very, very strong and very good team in the Los Angeles the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes.
Yes. So, Kevin, with you, we're going to be back next week. We're going to recap this game that we have coming up here in a few hours, and then we're going to dive headfirst into what we're kind of expecting out of the game against the Chargers. So we're hoping that we see all of you next week. For Kevin Bayne, this is Dr. Wonderful. Doctor of Writing, Professor of English, and avid Commanders fan. And this has been your weekly edition of Commanders Wrap, where you get all your Commanders news and a little bit of opinion too in 15 minutes.